Hello again, and welcome to part 2 of the Advanced Wars Days of Ruin Dark Conflict side-by-side script comparison playthrough. That's a lot of words to describe a playthrough, but I couldn't really come up with anything shorter. I'll take suggestions if you have any, though. Anyways, next up is Mission 3. It is called Free Haven in Days of Ruin, which is the name of the village we are heading off to, and in Dark Conflict it is just called the Closed Village, which I think is a little less interesting. So while this cutscene is going on, I'm not going to pay too much attention to it for the time being, because I want to talk about something that was brought up to me in the comments of the previous video. See, I mentioned how I was a little bit confused about the name Laurentia because I have no idea where it comes from. I know where Rubinel comes from. It comes from Ruby because the protagonists are the Red Army, and Rubies are red, usually. But in the comments of the previous video, I was told that Laurentia actually comes from someplace, so I looked it up on Wikipedia, and I gotta be honest, I know next to nothing about this topic, probably even less because I use Wikipedia. Less than nothing, how about that? But anyways, from what I understand, Laurentia is this region of North America. If you draw a line from Alaska all the way down to Mexico, then everything to the right of that is Laurentia, and it's geography stuff, so you're going to have to research this on your own. Yeah, I unfortunately just don't know a lot about it, so there you go. At least I know the name comes from someplace. So anyways, in this mission we're heading off to a village to find a place for Will to stay. And Will is surprised that there is even a village at all when the world is essentially dead after all of those meteors. But I guess Brenner notes that it's only natural for humans to set up civilization even in a situation like this. And Lynn basically, Lynn's very pragmatic, as you will see throughout this playthrough. She points out that humans setting up laws is something that they do only for their own preservation. Because without laws, like, you're basically scared that anyone could do anything at any time. Laws are something that we put in place for security, essentially. Brenner prefers thinking that it's human decency that causes them to do this, but whatever the case, the villagers are unfortunately not going to be all that receptive to an army with guns and stuff. And of course, bandits are attacking the villages. I told you that Days of Ruin was going to use the bandit excuse just like Fire Emblem. So interesting that both games end up with bandits and stuff, somehow. Although I guess in this case they're more like raiders or looters, whatever you want to call them. Oh, so Brenner knows this mayor. I was looking at the Dark Conflict script when I said that. Oh, so because he's young, he couldn't be one of the bandits, right? Well, anyways, get ready for the best character in the game. The mayor. We never find out what his name is. Even in Dark Conflict, he doesn't have a name. Like, I'm more familiar with the Days of Ruin script. But even in Dark Conflict, he doesn't have a name. That's interesting. So Days of Ruin is a bit more wordy in this section. And of course the mayor does not want to just take in anybody because that means more upkeep. You have to spend more resources when the population is higher. Yeah, that's this guy in a nutshell. He's not nice. Yes, millions and millions have lost their lives, so you should probably preserve as many as possible at this point. Oh, extra text box in Dark Conflict. Interesting. They managed to get that across with just one text box in Days of Ruin. Ah, but the bandits are back. Yep, here they are. We get to fight Drokov, aka the Beast, again. And of course, the mayor is a total coward, believe me. Like, this is only the start. So, as soon as the bandits show up, now he wants Brenner's help. And of course, we're gonna fight them off because, you know, preservation of innocent lives, etc. Alright, so mission 3. We're still in tutorial mode, and we're pretty much going to be in tutorial mode for quite a while. So I guess I will leave the top screen on, just so you can see the differences in the tutorial sections. So here we go. And we're basically going to be introduced to terrain and... Oh, we have mechs now. Which button closes the tutorial again? Yes. So what are the mechs called in Dark Conflict? Let me get the cursor synced. What is with this cursor? Yeah, I'm basically running 2 emulators at once, so they might be taking my inputs differently. So the mechs are called bazookas in Dark Conflict. Alright, so it's like the bazooka veteran from Battalion Wars. That makes sense. Okay, I'm going to attack with the tank first. So I did that so I wouldn't really take any counterattack damage. So actually, I also want to turn on the map animations. Normally, I would keep all animations off for a playthrough like this, but I'm fine with the map animations. If you don't keep the map animations on, then you don't have the explosion that you don't have the explosion sound, which is a little bit strange in this game. Oh, but they're moving slowly. Maybe I have to turn it to fast. Yeah, there we go. This is my preference. So move the artillery up. Is the text going faster in Days of Ruin? It kind of feels like it might be, but oh well. Alright, so the enemy has 9 units to our 5, so you've got to outplay them in this map. So maybe they are upping the ante just a little bit. Like, just so that they can force the player to get used to the game a little bit. Oops, uh-oh. I really am getting desynced for some reason. Okay, I know how to correct this. I'll use the touch screen for one of the games. There we go. I told you this was going to be a train wreck. How far can this tank move? Alright, so I don't want to attack from the north. Jeez. Just move like this, and I'll keep the mech in the mountain. And I think the tank can go where the recon was. Like that. That'll do. Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about what I'm going to do for the later missions, because I can't do this whole control 2 games at once thing forever. Everything's fine for now, though. Don't you guys worry. Oops. Yeah, they're probably not synced completely perfectly. What do I do here? You can also see the difference in the damage between a leveled unit and a non-leveled unit, because the level 1 tank is doing 5 damage more than the not leveled tank. If I recall correctly, level 1 gives you plus 5 attack, level 2 gives you plus 10 attack, and I think the 3rd and final level gives you plus 20 attack and defense. I think. Not totally certain. So I don't think those were the best moves I could have made. Oh, this is the joining tutorial. Okay. turn 4. I haven't gotten any casualties yet, which is interesting. The mech will have to retreat. And hey, we have a level 2 tank. So if level 1 tank does 73, the level 2 tank does... Well, this bike unit has a tile... It has a defense star. Fortunately, I'm not going to be able to finish the job this turn. So that took one more turn than I wanted it to. Whoops. I might have skipped a text box accidentally. There we go. Okay. Still should be a very easy S rank this early in the game. Ah, here we go. Now the mayor wants us to finish off the bandits as a condition for taking in Will and the girl. Something like that, yes. Or in Dark Conflict, he will reconsider his decision. I think I know where this is going. But hey, Mission 4 is available now, so let's get going. Next destination in Dark Conflict, moving on in Days of Ruin. I don't think I like either title, to be honest. Come up with something with a little more oomph. In Dark Conflict, there's a little bit more to this camp than it just being a raiders camp. They lost that in Days of Ruin. Or maybe it was just made up for Dark Conflict. It's a little bit more interesting in Dark Conflict, I think. One extra text box in Days of Ruin. Nice. So we have the first Fog of War mission, so that's going to be fun. Fog of War was actually changed in Days of Ruin. You can still hide in the Force, but you can also hide in ruins, which is a new tile, and you can also hide in cities and other properties too, which I don't think was the best decision. I think if you allow the player to hide in, if you allow units to hide in properties, then that just creates way too many potential hiding places, and it makes Fog a lot worse. But we also have a new unit to deal with that as well. This is the Advanced Infantry unit in Dark Conflict. I see what you did there. So yes. Also, the music changed because we're now playing as Lynn. CO doesn't really matter until the halfway mark of the campaign, but that's a long time, right? Anyways, Lynn is stated to be the intelligence specialist, but she has no Fog of War related abilities, so I don't really know where that comes from. She is a defensive CO, so maybe it's because she can better defend herself from surprise attacks. I don't know. So what I'm going to do is... let's just go ahead and introduce the new unit. This is the Flare Truck. It's a very new unit for Days of Ruin, and it has an ability that is unrelated to just outright attacking, which Advanced Wars could probably use a couple more of, but it's tough to think of a unit with a non-combat ability that will have a lot of staying power. Like, in player versus player, they basically don't use this unit at all. Besides the fact that it's a Fog of War unit, and player versus player, players don't really like Fog of War. It has a machine gun that's supposed to be stronger than the Recons, but it's not really worth the price point, because it's a little bit more expensive than a Recon as well. So here's what the flare does. You can fire off a flare, and it will reveal all tiles within the blast radius. It's similar to a missile silo. And it also reveals force tiles as well, and other hiding tiles, so this is pretty good stuff. Like, it's very good for the... Oh, desynced again. It's very good for the single player, at least. You'll be very glad to have one of these units in some of the Fog of War chapters coming up. And of course, foot soldiers on mountains will have better vision. They kept that from the previous games. So we'll go ahead and finish off the bike. And this infantry unit, I don't think you're meant to, like, be able to have this infantry unit survive. I think it's a mandatory casualty. But, you know me, I'm gonna do my best to try and keep it alive at all costs. I don't know if that's possible. So, we could... Like, you just can't really get it into a hiding space because there's nothing you can attack besides the mech. Go ahead and fire at the mech first. And this bike... Oh, I'll move the bike later. Now, let's keep the mechs in the forest so they can surprise the enemy. The Recon can only really get up to this point, so I think this foot soldier just has to take a chance with this forest tile right here. Nope! Ambush! So yes, ambushes are still a thing as well, and they're incredibly annoying. Oh, speaking of ambushes, like, I actually know that in the Japanese version of the game, only the Japanese version, if you get ambushed, the soldier that got ambushed will swear like a sailor. He says a bad word. In plain English as well. And that's probably what you're saying whenever you get ambushed. No fatalities in Dark Conflict, huh? Ah, okay. There was extra dialogue in the Dark Conflict version. Right, so I don't think it's possible at all to save that infantry unit. I would love to know if it is, though. Alright, so this tank is taking damage. Let's light the place up a little bit first. It's just enemy recon, so I think we're safe. In fact, could a recon and the tank do enough damage to... Well, I can only attack it one time anyways. So let's hide in the forests. Because they have to reveal a unit in a forest before they are able to fire at it. Yeah, this time it's me who sets up the ambushes. And of course, flares have a limited amount of ammo. I don't think there are that many enemy units left anyways. That flare did not reveal a whole lot. Ah, the enemy joined. Interesting. Yeah, there have actually been a couple of join-related glitches discovered in Advanced Wars 2. It's related to when the AI performs the join command. So that can be a little bit interesting if you see it happen. And it took a lot longer than I wanted it to. But hey, that mostly went off without a hitch. I don't really know why the Beast is so confused. Like, if anybody can attack anybody now that the world is essentially dead, then, like, you know, he should be aware that somebody could come after him. Oh, you're kidding me, a B rank? A B? Wow, that's a low rank for this mission. You'd expect, like, an S rank very easily, but somehow I wound up with a B rank. Power is the lowest score, so I'm guessing I didn't really destroy enough units quick enough. Like, the ranking system has actually changed a little bit from the previous games, but, I guess I can go over that later. Still surprising to get a B rank on that mission. Ah, and here we go. Let me get the synchronization back. Here we go. So, the mayor is essentially saying that he agreed to nothing. So yes, this guy is a very, very big, bad person. Yes, he only said he would consider it. And the answer's still no. Yeah, real civilized. Yes, this mayor knows exactly how to take advantage of a good-intended person like Brenner. Pretend to care for. Of course, Will is perfectly willing to serve under Brenner, so looks like the game's going to go on for a bit longer. Still 22 more missions to go. Oh, by the way, 26 is actually going to be an interesting number, so watch out for that in future videos. Oh, I like Brenner's line in Days of Ruin a lot better. Here he just says, in Dark Conflict, he just says, "Sorry for the trouble, Mayor." Like, it felt like way more of a needle in Days of Ruin. Somebody's in love. Oh, this goes on for a while in Dark Conflict. Oh, this scene is interesting. So Will brings the girl a flower. A plastic flower. You can't find many real flowers in this setting. So of all things to survive, a plastic flower. Oh, let me, Oh, so it's the girl who knows what the name of the flower is, and it looks like in both versions it's a Catalia Isabella. Oh, she also knows what it is in Dark Conflict, but Will doesn't know at all in Days of Ruin. And she just decides to be named Catalia. Huh. So this is interesting. In Dark Conflict, they go with Catalia, which is probably her name in Japan as well, but they decide to keep it simple in Days of Ruin and just call with Isabella, which is a lot better, I'd say. So yes, it's an interesting difference between the two versions, this name difference here. I love this in Days of Ruin, by the way. Boy meets girl, boy gives girl flower, boy names girl after flower. What's wrong with this world? I love you, Lynn. Yeah, that was a lot better in Days of Ruin, I gotta say. Alright, so that was a very, interesting mission. We got a B rank. Well, I got a B rank. All of you are going to get S ranks in this mission because you, apparently know how to play it better than me after all these years. So, next up is Mission 5, and in the next video, we will be introduced to the actual best character in the game. You probably know who I'm talking about. See you later for that, everybody. B rank. So embarrassing.